Close.
Whatever works. You're welcome. Just don't want you to be looking for something at the last minute, you know. Our fans aren't on. Do you think we should turn our fans on? I don't know. Robert was complaining about being cold.
You can hear this one?
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Russell. That's beautiful. Welcome to Woodland Chapel. You guys are here, right? I didn't hear a thing. It's so quiet out there. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What do we like to say? It's a great pleasure to be here this morning for Woodland Chapel Live, right? Yeah. I heard somebody say Saturday Night Live. No, let's do Woodland Chapel Live. Thank you. Oh, goodness sakes. Is there anyone here who might be here for the first time? No? Okay. We're all family. That's wonderful. The theme of the month is the body. And so we've heard one message already in that regard, and another coming up, as I remember. And it's just a wonderful thing to be aware of wonder of the universe as we experience it. I think it's just amazing. I had the privilege of being at a graduation ceremony at Newburgh High School this last week, and I experienced nature. It was pouring rain. It was pouring rain. We were fortunate to have a place under the cover, but the graduates, when they came up to line up, they were out in the rain. Oh boy. Anyway, young ones, no problem. They're all good. They're all good. Okay. Well, it's great to have all of us here this morning. So we asked that question. There's a few announcements we'd like to cover. One thing that's different today, Ruth Tenike, who's doing our invocation today, will also be going downstairs to the practitioner's corner room downstairs at the end of the hall, and she would be available for anyone who would like to have prayer treatment. So don't be afraid, don't be bashful. If you'd like to go down, we'd love to have to support you in any issue you might be facing and or any joy you'd like to share. Next week, Reverend Don Kerr's topic will be The Body Remembers. And Reverend Julie was going to speak on the fourth Sunday, but she will be in California. And so I'm taking that one. Okay. Please join us for hospitality. Julie Nibbler has prepared the way for us there. Thank you, Julie. And we're looking at, on the 19th, which would be the next Sunday, to have a little informal meeting about the possibility of a rummage sale and a silent auction. So if you're interested at all, just find Kathy Daniels, Kathy, everybody knows Kathy, and congregate around her at the hospitality, and we'll discuss that. Okay, masks, as you know, are optional. We are expecting a new practitioner to join us, probably the end of June, the beginning of July. She's coming up from California. Her name is Cheryl Guess, so we'll have Cheryl Ostrander and Cheryl Guess both as our practitioners. And probably sometime in June, she'll start serving our community. We're looking forward. She's coming up from Palm Desert. All right, are there any other announcements that need to be made at this time? Are we good? All right. Let us then proceed with our congregational song. Okay? I believe it's Spirit. Yes, by Bodhi Setchko. All right. All right. All right.
I think. Testing 1, 2. There we go. Good morning, everybody. We're so happy to be here at Woodland Chapel. We just love this place and these people. Did you guys know this one, Spirit? I thought so. Let's try it then. Spirit, guide my way. Open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Spirit, guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the spirit of choice. Spirit, guide my day. Open my heart to live your way. Teach me to hear your voice. Open my mind to the freedom of choice. Spirit. Now what? Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
We're so glad that you're all here. And now I'd like to ask you to relax, take a deep breath, and join me in a brief invocation so that we all know exactly who's sitting next to us, what your spirit is longing for. So if you close your eyes and open your heart and know that God is all there is. We all are one. We all know spirit, and we all pass the love that is in our hearts to those who also have open hearts and those who do not. I know that the service today is directed by Spirit. What we have to tell you today is what we know in our hearts, what our Spirit is telling you, telling me, telling the world. I'm so grateful that I'm able to be here, and I'm grateful that I can greet you all. And I do greet you all in the name of Spirit. We are one. And I know that the words spoken today, released into the air, into the law of love that only ever says yes. And if you'll join me by saying, and so it is. Now we have an affirmation to say. If you'll join me, please, in saying it together. Since love is never outside ourselves, I am willing to love myself fully, completely, just as I am. And so it is.
At this point in our service, we enjoy having a spiritual reading, and we have John Eels to step forward with his companion and read for us. Thank you, John.
Good morning. Good morning. The reading today has an interesting title, Know Your Zip Code, and it seems to be about integrating the spiritual with the material, the sacred with the mundane. It starts off with a quote from the beat poet Allen Ginsberg. Remember him? He wrote in one of his poems, "Everything is holy. Everybody is holy. Everywhere is holy. Every day is eternity. Everyone's an angel." And Ernest Holmes adds, "Communion is entering into conscious union with the essence of things." Ram Dass said, "Just because you are seeing divine light, experiencing waves of bliss, or conversing with the gods and goddesses is no reason not to know your zip code." This reminds me of a similar wise reflection. Beware of being so heavenly minded that you are no earthly good. We evolve by being involved. And since evolution knows no finish line, our involvement in the amalgams of spirituality and humanity are continuously before us to blend our devotion and action. Thomas Troward wrote, "The error of the extreme idealist is endeavoring to realize the absolute without the relative. And the error of the extreme materialist is endeavoring to realize the relative without the absolute. Periods of heightened spiritual experience are not excuses to dismiss the realities within our human lives. I make walking, the author wrote, a part of my daily practice, and during the winter months, the hours of light naturally lessen. Due to long work hours, my miles of steps can happen in the cold and dark winter. Winter, to use Ram Dass's analogy, is sort of like a zip code. I have communion with God, and I also have communion with winter. I work with the balance of one foot in the ethereal and one in the material form. Just like winter form changes, I don't have to spend time in blaming or fighting the form of it. To know your zip code is a reminder to bring divinity and sacred connection into the routine of human endeavors, just as living naturally into conversations with the divine. And the Science of Mind adds another affirmation today: all is holy in the here and now.
And those words were taken from today's reading of the Daily Guides, the Daily Guides of the Science of Mind magazine. Thank you, John. Wonderfully delivered. Now it's time for our special music just before our message. And I see that Russell and Mary are readying themselves. What's your title of your...
This is Random Act of Love by Al Jarreau, one of my musical heroes. And if you've heard us play it before, it's because it's one of our favorite songs.
Thank you.
This is going to go here. Well, looks like we're just going to set that down there. The rack came off. It's always something. All right. There we are. Everything we do with good intent won't ever disappear. It only ripples into habit, and it's ever deep. 'Cause it's no accident that you and I are here, and you and I were meant to happen. There's one thing that I know. It's a gift unto the giver. It's a random act of love every day. Find a cause, let it flow just like a river, and do a random act of love. One simple thing,
Really touch somebody.
make somebody smile inside.
What joy it brings. Really touch somebody. Love's a win-win, heart reliever. Good for the giver as it is the receiver.
Open heart can change the world we know into a loving place, reviving everything that's given in it, every spark, another chance to grow. Let love illuminate the place where light is dimming. There's one thing that I know. It's a gift unto the giver. It's a random act of love every day. Find a cause and let it flow just like a river, and do a random act of love. One simple thing.
Really touch somebody.
make somebody smile inside.
What joy it brings, really touch somebody. Love's a win-win, heart reliever. Good for the giver as it is the receiver.
One thing that I know, it's a gift to the giver. One thing that I know, let it flow like a river. One thing that I know, it's a gift to the giver. One thing that I know, it's a random act of love. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We are honored this morning to have Reverend Julie Applegate speak with us. I think she's going to talk about loving this body. Reverend Julie.
Loving this body, Julie. Let's see, are we on here with this? Before Julie speaks, how's this coming along? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Well, I woke up Sunday morning wondering where I'd become Sunday evening. So I rolled up my sleeping bag and I stashed it under the bridge I'd been sleeping. I washed my face and combed my hair with water from a bottle I'd been drinking. I took a deep breath and a couple of steps, stumbled out to meet the day. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, wishing, Lord, can you help me? I feel as cold as stone. There's something about a Sunday can make a body feel so damned alone. And Lord, there's nothing short of dying half as lonesome as the sound of a sleeping city sidewalk and Sunday morning coming down. In a park I saw Daddy, the laughing little girl he was swinging. And I stopped beside a church on High Street Hill. The sign said Woodland Chapel, come on in. I started to listen to the songs they were singing. Something came over me and I slipped in to see, found an empty seat and nobody noticed me. The next part of this comes on. Well, the preacher lady at the altar seemed to have light shining all around her. She stopped speaking and smiled right at me. But her voice felt like a gentle rain, and her words felt like warm shower cleansing me, opening me in my heart. For the first time in a long time, I could feel my breath come really, really easy, pumping life to my body, and I wanted to cry tears of joy. And for the first time in a long time, I felt wrapped in love holding me, and that lady of light smiled again at me. And this Sunday morning coming down was the start of my new life. On a Sunday morning sidewalk, I walk the city every Sunday coming down. I head for High Street Hill, and that beacon of light that shines so bright on that hill, on that hill. And so it is.
And so the words that I know that he heard when he walked in to this center, you are loved, the very presence of love, because the divine love lives as you. You are whole and perfect just as you are. Healing words, are those not? Healing words that we hear in all of our centers on Sunday mornings. So they're just transformational. Words of truth, when you know, there's something about the words of truth. And we can all hear the same word and we'll all hear it differently. But there's something about words of truth that strike us unmistakably. And so, you know, many of us can relate to the words of that song, can't we? That we just walked into a center one day, or there was something that drew us there, and our life changed, and we knew we were home. So the wonder is Spirit leads us. You know, it's so cool. Spirit leads us wherever we need, when we need it, at the right time. And it's just for us to walk through the door. So I want to thank Don for doing that. That was really fun. And this month, we're focusing on the body, which is pretty cool. And today we're talking about wholeness and health. And let me start with a story, okay? So, you know, this teaching is about healing. We actually have two kind of foundations. If you studied the roots of our teaching, where it came from, the foundation. And one of them is from the Transcendental Movement, really looking at the oneness, the oversoul, the wholeness, that we're all one. Everything, not just everybody, but everything in the universe is part of this oneness, this oversoul. And then the other leg of our teaching came out of a healing movement in the early 19th century, Phineas Parkhurst Quimby. Isn't that just like the greatest name ever? So anyway, so we have these two legs. And so we, like a lot of churches a while back, we were having a healing evening here, and it happens, you know, a lot of churches do that. And so during the service, Reverend Don asked if there's anyone who needs to be prayed over to come forward to the front of the altar. And so out of privacy, I'll just name this guy Leroy, okay? So Leroy gets in line when it's his turn. And Don asks, well, Leroy, what do you want me to pray for you? And he says, I want you to pray for my hearing. And so Reverend Don lays one hand on his ear, and then the other hand on his head. You know, there's kind of an energy flow there. And Reverend Don just prays and prays, and he prays up a blue streak for Leroy. And after a few minutes, Reverend Don removes his hand from Leroy's head, and he says, stand back, and he says, Leroy, how is your hearing now? And Leroy says, I don't know. It ain't till next Wednesday. So whatever the outcome of Leroy's hearing is, we don't know. That's for him. But learning our body, loving our body, means that it's an avenue. See, loving our body is just an avenue for the experience of the divine in us. And first, let me just say, healing. Of the two things I want to talk to you about today, first is that healing is possible. Healing is possible. There are so many stories. I mean, we could be here until next Sunday talking about the testimonials of people who have healed through the transformation of their mind, through the transformation of their soul. And sometimes, and I have some books, all kinds of books, like lots of books, but of healers who have the ability to sit with someone and even lay their hands on them. And after time, whatever condition that is healed. And there was a healer by the name of Olga Whirl who had this amazing ability. She and her husband, he was actually an aeronautical engineer, and so this was what they did in spare time. They had a healing service. They were Methodists, and she had the power, and so did he, of sitting with people just and touching them, and for however long it took, and healing would take place. And so actually at the University of California, they did studies on her hands. She would be in a closed place where energy supposedly could not come through. And just to look at the healing energy that came from her hands, trying to figure out what this was. So there is that. And then there is the healing that comes from like our prayer treatment, where we know and we get in alignment with the wholeness that is God, and we just know. And in that knowing, it's the work of Jesus. You see, in our early part of our movement, in the New Thought movement, it was like a rediscovering of Jesus' teaching. It is done unto you as you believe. Get up your bed and walk. So there is this knowingness that sometimes our attitude and our experiences and whatever it is holding us back from that wholeness. And other times I believe science. I believe that the body is as an expression, a divine expression of the wholeness of God. And so we can muck it up really good, can't we? We can muck up a lot of things really good. But underneath all of that is this divine perfection. And I believe as we evolve over time, not just physical evolution, but evolution in consciousness, that we come to discover more and more about this beautiful being, this beautiful body that we have that is so incredible. And in that science, we learn how to adjust the things that have gone wrong in our body. So there's many ways that healing happens because we are underneath what? We are underneath the presence of God. And that is whole and perfect. And we are meant to be the full expression of that. And we're just working it out, which is okay. So, and we can get some weird ideas. You know, throughout history, the early Christian fathers considered the soul imprisoned in the body. And the body was an occasion of sin. And so, you had to punish the body. You had to do all sorts of penances to subjugate the body to its passions. Yeah, who wants to do that? But anyway, they did. And so this idea has carried forward. Even, I don't think anybody here believes that, and I would hope that we don't believe that. But we still have this idea that our body is less than perfect, and we don't always love it, do we? How many of you here have had moments when you don't love your body? Yeah, something's wrong with it. And I think we just don't understand this wonder that we call our body. And so, because you and I really are part of this universal mind, this creative force that brought everything into being. And you know what? You look at the cosmos and it's so amazing, but look at a cell. Oh my God. I have all these books on cells, and I make Paul put down the clicker every once in a while and say, look at this cell. Look what the cell does. I mean, it's so magnificent. I mean, think of the perfection that exists. And so we are part of that, and we are one of that. And the body is not separate from the spiritual life. It is what is. And we experience our good in the degree that we can accept it. Sounds funny that we don't accept it, doesn't it? But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we're really critical. And see, we're not souls trapped in this body that moves our consciousness from room to room. We are literally this beautiful temple. And when we love something like this beautiful temple, we care for it, don't we? We maintain it, we care for it. So Paul and I just got this, speaking of healing, okay, so we just got this graduation announcement. He is so cute. You can look at it. This is a cousin. And I've talked about his family before because he was just 4 years old, I believe, when his dad was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, a bone cancer. And see, his parents had just moved back to Hermiston, their hometown, and he was opening up a law practice, and they were going to buy their house, and they had a dream, and they had these 2 children, a little girl and a little boy. A little girl was 2. And so he's out running, and suddenly he has pain in his leg and can't do that anymore. And so it was diagnosed as this. It's horrible stuff, horrible stuff. And it was just like this wrench was thrown into their plans. And he had this, oh gosh, I remember seeing him in the hospital and the chemotherapy he had to go through because there's no blood in your bone, no veins in your bones that can, like the chemotherapy, it takes so much more to do to get rid of that. And I mean, it was just awful stuff. And the tumor shrunk, but then the outcome of all the chemotherapy was that he had all these other things, including leukemia and lung cancer. And all of this, seriously, it was ugly. And in the midst of this, his wife discovered she was pregnant. And so the miracle of that, there's so many miracles in this story. I've told us some of it before, and I won't belabor it too much here. But that there is a chance now that the stem cells from the placenta can go a long ways to healing him. And it, you know, it's just, it goes on and on. But here's the thing. As we would talk to them and see how you're going, you know, and it just felt so awful about this. I mean, this young family, he no longer could practice law because it really affected a lot of things about him. But every time we talked to them, they were like, we are just so blessed. We are so grateful. We are so grateful for everything that has happened that's good. We are so blessed. And I would be like, oh, you know, I didn't say anything, of course. I am, after all, a New Thought minister. I needed to affirm that. But I'm thinking, blessed? Blessed. This wouldn't be what I would call a blessing. And, you know, the prognosis for him living was very small. But this attitude was so amazing. And they had tremendous amount of help and really a big part of the community of Hermiston. And there were 5 people in the Seattle Treatment Center for this. And of the 5 people, he was the only one that lived. And, you know, we're just hoping he gets to see his new baby even. Well, it's been how many years, and his 4-year-old son just graduated from Hermiston High School going to Oregon State. And I got this, and it just brings tears to my eyes thinking, you're going to see all of your children graduate. You're going to see all of them married. This family, by the way, is so cool. So cool. And I know that what it was is he wasn't thinking about, I need to heal, I need to heal. I thought about this afterwards because the attitude was so profound. There was, even though there were tons of people praying for them, that wasn't where they were going, focusing so much on that. It was like everything was about gratitude for what they have, the gratitude that they're still here, the gratitude for all. And so, you know, the thing about healing and prayer, what we focus on, right? What we focus on is what we get. And so I thought, focusing on gratitude is the same thing as say thank you, all is well. All is well. If we focus just on what is wrong and how to fix it, then we're focusing on what is wrong, aren't we? And our mind is on what it is that we don't want. And I just look at this little family, and I love this because he's graduating and his dad got to see that. And I know it's the power of prayer, but the attitude was the single thing that was different. I am grateful for what I have. It makes me cry, of course. So the second thing I want to propose to us today is that perfection is more than we normally have in mind. You know, we think of healing and loving this body because it is perfect and all of that. Oh, it rarely measures up to what we think should be perfect, does it? But it is. And I think perfection is like an elusive quality. It's like mercury. You can't hold it. It's always moving. We can't get our hands around this idea of perfect, can we? What is perfect? What is perfect? Only that infinite spirit of love. So healing's not always what we think it is. It's a wonderful story. I love the story of when people's body and circumstances are healed, their finances are healed, their relationships are healed. But healing isn't always what we think it is. The Bhagavad Gita asks us, is there a deeper experience that wants to emerge? And what is it? Reverend Peggy Bassett. How many of you remember Reverend Peggy Bassett? Some of you. She faced that. She was hugely successful. And her ministry touched enormous amount of people. She was the first woman president of what we now call Centers for Spiritual Living. And then she had this terminal illness. And she wrote an article about it in Science of Mind magazine, and I copied it, and I still have that article, and I read it. I read it occasionally because it has something to teach me, something deeper than I normally go. And she's had this to say, too often in our teaching we have defined perfection as how well life matches our mental pictures. I underlined that. Isn't that true? It's perfect if. I have this idea. Too often we do that. And in doing that, she says, we are cheating ourselves out of the most joyous times because we are trying to figure it out and make everything fit these static pictures. And she said at the beginning of her condition, and this is a terrible condition, she said, I said it is only temporary, something I created by putting extra stress on myself. Next, I blame myself for allowing this to happen to me. And then I piled on a lot of metaphysical guilt, she said. And then all of a sudden, I changed my prayer. Show me the perfection in the situation. And I immediately began to see things differently. I don't understand this, she said, but I know a greater design is unfolding. We walk through life serenely and gracefully because we are participating as co-creators. When we know there's a larger pattern to our life, waiting to be recognized, then it takes away some of the crisis. She said, perfection can reside in every moment, and we have to look for it. But ultimately, it can only be found in spirit, or God, or the infinite. And she says, as co-creators, we have the opportunity to use everything that happens to us, everything, as a tool to reveal a deeper perfection, if we will, if we don't get stuck in only wanting that static picture that we have now. How many of you had an idea about how your life should be? Yeah, okay, that was, yeah, all hands go up. And is it that way? You know, it moves, doesn't it? It moves and it flows. And if we get stuck and we hold on to that, we are holding back what could be, the possibilities that are there for us, the greater things that we have come for. So our challenge then is to embrace life, all of it, not to label the events as bad or good. That's hard to do, isn't it? Because we absolutely know that some of these are bad or good. But what if we didn't? What if we didn't? What if we said, I don't know, I don't understand, but I know that everything is tailor-made to make my life better, to unfold something in me, to go deeper, to reveal something I do not even know about myself, that will open up the possibility for something greater, a deeper walk. See, we used to call it chemicalization. Those who have been in this teaching a long, long time, we don't use that term anymore. But here's what it is, that all events we label terrible is really something happening to break down the old paradigm. When something really terrible happens, we can't keep our old ideas, can we? We may not know where to go in the moment, but those are done. They're no longer meaningful, no longer real. So these things break down so that we have to look at things differently, so that we're given the opportunity, should we choose to accept it, to look at things different, waiting for something, grist for the mill for something better to show up. And it's often something that we cannot even imagine. So whatever is happening in our life is a call to let go of our old paradigm, our mental image of what we want in order to have something greater revealed. And you know what? If we knew what it was, it would be that picture, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be something greater than we know. And it's hard to let go, isn't it? It's really hard to let go, and being that unknown, I hate that place. Because we want to know where we're going to be, what's going to happen. And to sit in that unknown, it can be really tough. It's better to know that we're going somewhere we don't want to be than to just not know where we're going. But to be open to that. And we can experience it only in a moment, a deeper walk. A realization of that we are one with Spirit. And you guys, that is really where it is. That is where it's leading us. It's always leading us there. And we'll get pulled back until we realize it, until we say yes, until we surrender into it. It's just going to be that way. See, the body is this one thing that is completely ours. Completely ours. And rather than engaging in a spirituality that denies something, how about one that moves us closer to the experience of divine love, the mystical unknown, that which is really waiting for us. Our bodies, they're just perfectly, wonderfully made. And by learning to love our bodies exactly as they are, instead of demanding that they become something that they aren't, we get to open to the experience here and now, and we move into reverence and awe on this divine creation. And so we're going to come together here in a quiet place in just a moment. But I just want to affirm this one thing and go back to that place. The Spirit is calling us. You can call it God, you can call it Source, you can call it whatever you want. Call it nothing, which might be better even. Ernest Holmes calls it the thing itself. But it is who and what we are, and it is always calling us home to itself. And everything that is going to be happening into your life, you guys, no matter where it takes us and how many experiences we're going to have, is leading us to that. So let's come together this moment into a quiet place, into that inner temple where the presence of our God resides. And just take a breath. And allow yourself to be present in that, letting go of all the plans, all the things, all the desires. And ask yourself in this quiet place, what is mine?
I will make a quiet place. My soul and I had a talk, and I promised my soul these things that I will do. I will make a quiet place in my heart, in my mind. I will make a quiet place in my heart, and I'll wait up on the Lord, my soul. Yes, I will make this quiet place in my mind, in my heart. I will make this quiet place in my mind, in my mind, in my heart. And I will wait. I will wait upon the Lord, upon my soul, on my soul. Be still, my soul, be still, and know that I will make this place in my heart, and I will wait upon my soul in this quiet place, in my mind, in my heart, in my mind, in my heart. I will wait in this quiet place, in my heart and in my mind.
And I will wait in this place, this quiet place, this inner place. As we are told in Scripture, I will wait upon the Lord. I will wait upon that voice that will speak to me. For there is a voice. It is the voice of my soul. And in this quiet place, I will hear it. I will hear it. And so it is.
I will make this place in my heart. I will make this place in my mind. I will wait in this quiet place and sing in my mind. I will wait upon the Lord.
Thank you, Don. Thank you. It feels like we should just go home right now, doesn't it? Yeah. And stay in this place. But I will invite you, and I will invite some ushers to come forward.
We're going to have Reverend Moore as an usher and Reverend Don. And we have some music coming up.
That we can have our offering music together. It's so wonderful to sing together, isn't it? So wonderful to be here together, to share together, to know that there is a community of support and oneness. So as we come together for this offering, let us know that we cannot outgive God, for that which we give is of the source. It comes through us. And I am so grateful to be a vehicle for this good that goes forth and does work that I could not do on my own. And so let us say our offertory blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
the assent of our hearts, the consent of our minds, and the joy of life spread through our entire beingness, from spirit, mind, and body. We just welcome this joyous experience of being fully alive, fully part of this exquisite expression of the Spirit, which is Woodland Chapel, Center for Spiritual Living, and each one of us here. So with gratitude in our hearts, we accept all these gifts and know they are working to help improve our own spiritual experience in life and that of others. So let us say together, and so it is.
I'm in now. Oh, there you go. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, peace that was meant to be. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Let us walk in a perfect awareness of the love of God that lives in ourselves and our bodies.